Peace and love, black family. It's the Prince of Pan-Africanism, International Ifa Tunde, coming to you live. That ain't gonna work. Let me try to get this right so we can get this done. Okay. There we go. Peace and love, black families. The Prince of Pan-Africanism, Dr. UMAR Johnson, coming to you live and direct. We are behind the red curtain. Yes, we are. The communist nation of China, the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party. We are here. We are live and direct. Shanghai, the Prince is here. Tonight, there will be a welcome dinner for the Prince of Pan-Africanism and the African and Pan-African and African-American community here in Shanghai, China. I'm going to be doing some sightseeing today. I'm going to be doing some sightseeing today as well. I want to give a special thank you, a very special thank you, a very, very, very special thank you to my Shanghai hostess, Sister Rihanna, for making that black-tastic chicken noodle soup or whatever. Yeah, I believe it was chicken noodle, but the soup was the bomb. Okay, she hooked me up with everything that I need. So I'm trying to nurse myself back to health because you know I'm a high-impact speaker. So it's hard for the Prince to do what the Prince does. It's hard for the Prince to do what the Prince does, you know, when he ain't optimal. So we got to get it up. I'm feeling better. I'm definitely feeling better. Maybe it was the barbecue bulldog that I had on the plane yesterday. Maybe it was the barbecue bulldog that I had on the plane yesterday. Okay. She said the animals got his mind. Y'all crazy. So what I want to do today, and just so you guys know, China is 12 hours ahead of East Coast time. China is 12 hours ahead of Eastern Standard Time in the United States. So whatever time it is in the United States, add 12. Okay? That's all you got to do. Add 12. Okay? And you will find out what time it is here. So I think it is 8 o'clock in the morning here. So it should be 8 o'clock p.m. in the United States. Okay. I got a Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy fundraising idea. It just came to me while I was in the shower a few minutes ago. And the idea that I had was for all of you guys to place orders with me on Facebook Live for made in China, bootleg, knockoff merchandise. And we could donate all the money to the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. So ladies, if you want that Louis bag, I'm gonna get you the Louis bag for 60% off. Brothers, you want them Jordans? I'm gonna get you them Jordans for 60%. You want that Louis bag? What y'all want? They got that perm. They got that weave. This is where that weave be coming from, that weave. So sisters, I can get you the extra thick weave. I can get you the Tina Turner MTV Lifetime Achievement Award weave. I can get you the Beyonce BET Award weave. I can get you the wigs. What y'all think? We can make a lot of money if Dr. Umar just loads up on the knockoff merchandise. Y'all pay me when I get to the States, and we donate all the money to the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. What you guys think? Okay, so start placing your orders, whatever you want. You want that knockoff Mercedes? I can get you the Mercedes, okay? The S5. Instead of 120 grand, I can get it for 20 grand. Now, you might have to glue the Mercedes-Benz sign back on front. You might have to glue the Mercedes-Benz sign back on front, but you'll be all right. You feel me? I'm just kidding. Okay, so don't forget to sign up your children for the second annual Dr. Umar, Frederick Douglass, and Marcus Garvey Unapologetically African Black College in Consciousness Tour to New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Delaware, DC, and Virginia. It's going down June 28th through July the 12th. So we have about a month. Get that money right. Get that money right. It's going to be powerful and it's going to be packed. The second annual Black College in Consciousness Tour. Do you feel me? All right. Also, if you're going to Africa with me, the Ghana tour, Ghana, Togo, and Benin, July 27th to August the 10th. If you need the registration, you can email me for it, drumarjohnson.com, or you can add me on WhatsApp. You can add me on WhatsApp. 215-989-9858, 215-989-9858, 215-989-9858. Okay? So let me take a sip. Woo! Okay, what I want to do today, shout out to Brooklyn. I'm going to see you next Friday. Brooklyn, stand up. Brooklyn, Manhattan, Bronx, Queens, Harlem, Staten Island. I want to see y'all next Friday. Brown Memorial Baptist Church, 52 Gates Avenue. Doors open up at 4. Power lecture 6 to 9. Book signing and picture session to follow. So Brooklyn, make sure y'all in the building. New Jersey, make sure y'all in the building. Connecticut, make sure y'all in the building. Seattle, I'm going to see you, Seattle, Juneteenth Saturday. That's the 17th of June. Prince of Pan-Africanism in Seattle. Detroit, I will see you right after New York City. Detroit, I will see you right after New York City for the 4th Midwest Regional National Invitation Leadership Training Conference for the National Independent Black Parent Association. Minneapolis, Minnesota, Wednesday the 14th. Minneapolis, Minnesota, Wednesday the 14th of June. Let's get it poppin'. Black France, Black France, Black France, and the Gambia. Black France, the Prince will be coming back. First visit since 2015. And I will be going to the Gambia in Africa for the first time this fall. Okay, Columbus, Ohio. I think I got a venue in Columbus. So Columbus, you know, I might push Columbus to Kwanzaa because y'all haven't seen me in a while. We might got to make that a Kwanzaa move. Okay. Don't forget to donate to the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. Don't forget to donate to the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey Academy. GoFundMe.com/Dr. Umar. GoFundMe.com/Dr. Umar. Or you can mail your check or money order payable to FDMG Academy. FDMG Academy, P.O. Box 6872, Philadelphia, PA 19132. Fort Lauderdale, you will see me September 30th. Houston, you will see me December 30th. Fort Lauderdale, Florida, you will see me September 30th. Houston, Texas, you will see me December 30th. Okay? Fort Lauderdale tickets are already up. They're moving quickly. Fort Lauderdale, don't wait till September to get your tickets. Won't be none. Fort Lauderdale, do not wait until September to get your tickets. Won't be none. Do you feel me? So today I want to talk about the 10 biggest mistakes that black parents make in dealing with the public, charter, private, parochial, independent school system in the United States. And I would argue that they also deal with these same issues in South Africa, Canada, as well as throughout Europe, in any European context. And I'm sure as well here in China too. Okay, so let's talk about the 10 biggest mistakes that black parents make, okay, when protecting their children, advocating for their children, raising their children, educating their children Canada, Toronto, 11/11, the day Nat Turner was hanged. Canada, Toronto, 11/11, the day Nat Turner was hanged. Also, I'm inviting everybody to join me in Nat Turner land. I'm inviting everybody to join me in Nat Turner land. We will be in Nat Turner land on my Earth Day, August the 21st, which is the anniversary of the commencement of the Nat Turner War against white supremacy. It is the anniversary of the commencement of the George Jackson War against white supremacy. It is the anniversary of the commencement of the first day of slavery for Africans in America, August 21st, 1619. It is the anniversary of the commencement of the Haitian Revolution. It is the anniversary of the Frederick Douglass Fugitive Slave Convention. Join me in Druryville, Virginia with Elder H. Khalif Khalifa. Join the Prince of Pan-Africanism on Monday, August the 21st, 2017, as we celebrate the Most High God, okay, while we recognize the first total solar eclipse since 1997, the year that I received my first college degree, okay? The first total solar eclipse since 1997 will be on Nat Turner Day. That is not a coincidence. We do not believe in coincidences. So make sure you are with me in Virginia this August the 21st, which is a Monday. But Elder Khalifa will be celebrating all weekend long. Elder Khalifa will be celebrating all weekend long. So if you can't come Monday, you can do Sunday, you can do Saturday, you can do Friday, you can do Thursday. But if you want to interact with the Prince of Pan-Africanism with an exclusive power lecture on what Nat Turner means to me and what Nat Turner means to us, there will be a private lecture by the Prince of Pan-Africanism on Nat Turner land on the day of the solar eclipse, because you want to get all of that ashe. You want to get all of that ashe. You understand? You want the Nat Turner ashe, okay? You want that solar ashe, divine ashe, okay? Monday, August the 21st, mark your calendars, get off of work. I know my 7 cities family going to be in the building, Norfolk and Hampton and Suffolk and Portsmouth and Newport News and Virginia Beach. I know all y'all going to be in the building. Richmond, I know all y'all going to be in the building. Okay? So let's talk about 10 mistakes that black parents make when dealing with the school system. Okay? Number 1. A very big mistake that black parents make. For parents who have children in special education. A very big mistake that black parents make who have children in special education. Okay? All of these are not just for special ed, but this one is. This particular one is. And that is not being prepared for the IEP meeting. Not being prepared for your child's incarceration education plan meeting. You have to be prepared for your child's incarceration education plan meeting, IEP. That is something that I want all of you parents to know. Listen to me very well. Okay, I have the window open because I'm trying to get some fresh air. But if the window noise is interfering with you hearing me, let me know and I will shut the window, okay? Because, you know, they got train. China is the manufacturing capital of the world. So there's trains and factories and all that. Okay? Somebody said Dr. Umar doesn't like black people who post black history. That's the most ridiculous thing I heard all my life. And the fact that you have the same name that I have, Jermaine, I was born Jermaine, and you're Jermaine. How could you say something like that, Jermaine? And you spelled Jermaine the same way my mommy spelled my Jermaine, Jermaine. Okay? For the ladies out there, you have a right to call me Jermaine if you a supporter, okay? So if you're a diehard Dr. Umar Johnson supporter, next time you see me in the streets, next time you see me at a lecture, okay, call me Jermaine. From this day forward, whenever a black queen calls me Jermaine, that's her way of saying I'm a diehard supporter who has never betrayed you. You feel me, ladies? That's the new rule, okay? Call me Jermaine. You only got to say it once, okay? You can say it as much as you want, but just say once. How you doing, brother Jermaine? And that lets me know I'm one of your ride or dies. That's the code word for the queens. That's the code word for the queens. You call me Jermaine, that lets me know I know you're a ride or die. Even when you text me, even when you email, what's up, Dr. Jermaine? What's up, brother Jermaine? You only got to say it once. You can go back to Umar. But when you say Jermaine, which is my birth name, okay, which is my birth name, I was born Jermaine, okay, my father changed my name, okay, right after he and my mother got married, Okay, so I was Jermaine for the first 8-9 years of my life. And then my dad called me in the house one day. My dad called me in the house, and he said we was living at Susquehanna Avenue, 16th and Susquehanna Avenue. Shout out to North Philly, 16th and Susquehanna Avenue. I'm a Susquehanna Avenue baby. And my daddy called me in the house, and he said, "You are no longer Jermaine." And I'm looking around like, I don't understand this. What do you mean? He said, "You're no longer Jermaine. From this day forward, you are Umar Rashad Ibn Abdullah Johnson." And I was like, what the? That's too many names. Okay. So I had to get used to Umar. But for a long time, my mother's family, they resisted that. They didn't call me Umar for a long time. They kept on calling me Jermaine. You understand? Jermaine, Jermaine, Jermaine. Mama named him Jermaine. We gonna call him Jermaine. And then finally, I got comfortable with Umar. Okay, but Jermaine is the birth name. Okay? So ladies, call me Jermaine. That lets me know you're a ride or die. If you're not a ride or die, don't ever call me Jermaine. It's only for sisters who have never betrayed the prince. If you betrayed the prince, stick to Dr. Umar. All right? So, the first mistake that black parents make who have children in special ed is not being prepared for the IEP meeting. The IEP is the be all and end all of special ed. The IEP is the curriculum for your child. The IEP is the curriculum for your child. Now, the school, after they evaluate your child, the school is supposed to give you a copy of the psychological evaluation report. Depending on the state you live in, it determines how many days ahead of the IEP meeting you should have a copy of your child's psychological evaluation report. Okay? So in Pennsylvania, a parent is supposed to have a copy of their child's evaluation report 10 days before the IEP. 10 days before the IEP. In most states, it's 10 days. Some states, it's a little longer. Some states, it's a little less. The reason the law wants parents to have a copy of their child's psychological evaluation report 10 days before the IEP meeting is so you can review it, see if you have any questions, and if you agree with it, you should be writing down goals that you think your child should be working on the next 180 public or charter school days of the year. The IEP is good for 1 full year. The IEP is good for 1 full year. Just like a child moves up every year in grade, a child in special ed moves up every year in grade, right? So the IEP you had last year shouldn't be the IEP you have next year. Why? Because you moved up a grade. The IEP is curriculum. The regular ed kids have a general ed curriculum. Special ed kids have an individual curriculum, which is called the Individual Education Program, or IEP. So you're supposed to get your child's psychological evaluation report 10 days before the meeting. However, you can waive your right to receive your psychological evaluation report 10 days early. Okay? So, my question to you parents, should you ever waive your right to receive your child's psychological evaluation 10 days early? What do you guys think? Should a black parent ever say, I don't need 10 days to review my child's evaluation in preparation for the IEP? Should a black parent ever say that I don't need 10 days to review my child's psychological evaluation in preparation for the IEP? Here's another way of looking at that. Why in the hell would a black parent ever want to waive the right to review the evaluation results when the entire special ed program and the entire IEP is based off of the school psychologist's report? Your child's whole educational future is based off of my report. So why in the hell would a black parent who cares about their child ever waive their right to review the report? You should never waive your right to review the report 10 days before the IEP meeting. In fact, if you waive your right, that's a way of telling the school that you really don't give a damn about your child. That's a way of telling the school that you really don't give a damn about your child. Now, when you go through the evaluation, you should make a copy. Keep one copy that doesn't have any marks. Another copy for you to mark it up. As soon as you get your child's psychological evaluation report, make a copy. Make a copy. Make a couple copies so you don't lose it. But you need to make at least one copy for your review so you can go through it, and you might even need Dr. UMAR to look at it and say, hey, I seen a couple things on here that look suspicious. Okay, they're saying your child got a reading disability, but it looks like your child just simply ain't been taught. They're saying your child has an intellectual disability, but it looks like they didn't do a index analysis of all the different intelligence scores. So that's when you get in contact with me and we go over it to help you prepare for your IEP meeting. Okay, make a copy and you mark it up. This looks funny. This looks funny. This don't make no sense. This is a lie. I never said that. Why is another kid's name in my child's report? Why is another kid's name in my child's report? Why is another kid's name in my child's report? Yada, 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 whoop-de-whoop, right? So you get the eval, you go through it. Now, I'm going to tell y'all another secret. 2 secrets. The first secret is not really a secret because it's the law, but I call it a secret because they don't tell you. The first secret is what? You have a 10-day rule. The 10-day rule, or longer. Your state might make it longer. 10 days to look at the evaluation before the IEP meeting. Don't waive it. You can waive it. They're going to ask you to waive it because they don't want to see you twice. They're going to ask you to waive it because they don't want to see you twice. You tell them, I have a federal right to have my child's evaluation 10 days before the meeting, and I'm not waiving that because I need to read it over, and then his daddy need to read it over, and then his goddaddy need to read it over, and then Dr. Umar need to read it over, but you're never going to mention my name because they all know who I am, and if they know that you have me in your corner, they're going to be very, very strategic, and they're going to be very cunning, and we don't want them to be cunning. We want to catch them off guard. We want to catch them off guard. We want to catch them with their pants down so we can get them. So you never want to say, well, I spoke to Dr. Umar, and that's you talking too damn much. Keep your mouth shut. My name should never come out of your mouth. My book should never come out of your mouth. You understand? I'm your secret weapon. I'm the black community's secret weapon for the MisEducation machine. And you don't let people know what kind of weapons you have at home. Facts. 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 So, okay. So the other secret is what? Okay, the first one, the 10-day rule. You get your report 10 days. You can waive it, but you should never waive it. Okay, here's the other secret that y'all need to know. Y'all ready for this one? Once the evaluation is due, the law does not require the evaluation team to meet with you before an IEP meeting. Stay with me. The law does not require that the people who evaluated your child, which is me, the school psychologist, and whomever else, the law does not require us to meet with you before the IEP meeting. That meeting is called an MDT, okay? Multidisciplinary team meeting. Sometimes they call it an evaluation team meeting, child study meeting. Every state, every school district has a different name. But here's what I want you parents to know. You should always request an evaluation team meeting or a multidisciplinary team meeting to go over your child's evaluation before the IEP. before the IEP. So let me take both of these secrets and put them together. We first talked about the 10-day rule, right? We talked about the 10-day rule. And then we talked about the fact that the law doesn't require us to meet with you and go over the report before the IEP, but you can request it. The law gives you the right to request an evaluation meeting to review the eval before you go to IEP. So how do you put these together? You let the school know, I have a right to have my child's evaluation 10 days before the IEP meeting. And after I go over my child's evaluation, I want an evaluation team meeting before the IEP meeting. I'm going to say it again. You're going to combine the 10-day rule with your right to request a multidisciplinary team evaluation review meeting. I want my report 10 days before the IEP. I am not waiving my right to have my report 10 days before the IEP, and I am requesting an evaluation team meeting to review my child's eval before the IEP. Now, some of you might be saying, Doc, why not just do all that at the IEP meeting? First of all, schools never have enough time to meet with you in the first place. First of all, schools never have enough time to meet with you in the first place. They be trying to get you in and get you out in 15 minutes. They be trying to get you in and get you out in 30 minutes. They be trying to get you in and get you out in 45 minutes. So here's my question to you. Here's my question to you. If you can barely get enough time for an IEP meeting, how in the hell are you going to get enough time for both a multidisciplinary team evaluation meeting and an IEP? I repeat, if you can barely get enough time for an IEP meeting, how are you going to squeeze an evaluation review meeting and an IEP meeting together in the same block of time? Are y'all following me? Are y'all following me? Separate them out. I want my report 10 days ahead of time, and I want an evaluation. Well, we're going to have an IEP, and we're going to go over the report at the IEP. No, I want a separate one because I might have questions. I want a separate one. And the way you do this, let me clarify. First, when you get your report, all you ask for is the report. I want my report 10 days. After you look at the report, and you may have Dr. UMAR look at the report, you might see some stuff that ain't lining up. So you can't go to an IEP until you clarify the eval. Because if you don't agree with the eval, what you having an IEP for? If you don't agree with the eval, what you having an IEP for? If you don't agree with the way the architect designed your house, why are you giving the plans to the contractor to build it? If you don't agree with the way the architect designed your house, why are you giving the plans to the contractor to build the house? Are y'all following me? So once you get the report, then you call them, the special ed coordinator at your child's school, special ed liaison, and you say, I would like an evaluation team review. I would like an evaluation team review meeting to discuss my child's eval. Well, we're going to talk about it at the IEP. No, I want a separate one because I need to make sure I'm clear with this evaluation before we move to an IEP. I need to make sure I am clear with this evaluation before we move to an IEP. Are y'all following me? I want to make sure I'm clear with this evaluation before. Don't let them squeeze them together. And do you want to know why they like squeezing them together? Do you want to know why they like squeezing them together? Because 9 times out of 10, they are running late. 9 times out of 10, they are running late. 9 times out of 10, they are running late on the eval and they are running late on the IEP. So to get you to help them meet their compliance deadline, to get you to help them meet their compliance deadline, they're trying to rush you to do both at the same time. Remember, parents, you don't have a timeline. Remember, parents, you are not under anybody's time constraint. That is your child, and you should never sacrifice quality for quantity. You should never sacrifice quality for quantity. Because if you don't agree with that evaluation, you have a right to a what? If you don't agree with that evaluation, you have a right to an independent educational evaluation. An independent educational evaluation. This is why all of you need to be in Detroit. This is why all of you need to be in Detroit. This is why all of you need to be in Detroit June 9th and 10th so you can get this knowledge. This is why all of you need to be in Detroit June 9th and 10th so you can get this training. This is why all of you need to be in Detroit June 9th and 10th from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. so you can get this science. Okay? Now, let's say y'all got through the eval, y'all on the same page, all the changes were done, and it's now time for the IEP. In other words, you're at a point where you feel that your child does need the special ed. Y'all on the same page. We're moving forward to the IEP. Never go to an IEP meeting without a plan. Never go to an IEP meeting without a plan. Never go to an IEP meeting without a plan. And guess what? I've been doing this almost 20 years. Jermaine Bronax, my brother from another mother with the same name. Brother Jermaine, I would hate to block a brother who got my same name. But the next time you post something disrespectful, I'm going to block you. Get a hold of it, Jermaine, okay? Will the real Jermaine please stand up? Will the real Jermaine please stand up? Now, getting back to this IEP business. Having done this for almost 20 years, I can count on one hand. Having done this for almost 20 years, I can count on one hand the amount of black parents I've seen in the country. I can count on one hand the amount of black parents I have seen in the country who were prepared for an IEP meeting. What do I mean by being prepared? I mean your son is in special ed for reading, and he probably shouldn't be because he probably simply hasn't been taught. But let's say your son is in special ed for reading, right? He's in special ed for reading. He's in 7th grade. He's reading on a 3rd grade level. You should know what your son can do. You should know what your son shouldn't do. So you should show up with a list. You should show up to the IEP meeting with a list of objectives and strategies and goals for your child. If you don't show up to the IEP meeting, and the paper can be this small, it can be this small, but you should have a list of things. I think my son needs to work on, okay, his factor analysis. I think my son needs to work on his long-term division. I've noticed he can do division of one number by 2 numbers, but he can't do division of one number by 4 numbers. My son can do simple multiplication. He can do 8 times 8, but he can't do double-digit multiplication. He can't do 8 times 16. Tell them what your son needs to be working on. That IEP is a legal contract. That IEP is a legal contract. That IEP is a legally binding contract between the family and the school. Participate, Negro. Participate. Don't just sit there and let the white folks tell you what they're going to do with your child. You know why? You know why? Because what's going to happen is what they do. Your son is in the 7th grade and he got a reading IEP. Your son is in the 7th grade and he has a reading IEP. Guess what they're going to do? They're going to find another 7th grader with a reading IEP. They're going to find another 7th grader with a reading IEP, and they're going to print out the other kid's IEP. They're going to print out the other kid's IEP, and they're going to change the name and change the student ID number. And that other kid's IEP is going to become your child's IEP. There's nothing individual about an individual education plan. There's nothing individual about an individual education program. There's nothing individual about an individual education plan. Listen, I've been in schools, right, where I've reevaluated like 20 kids in the same grade, right? 20 kids in the same grade. And I'm looking at the IEP, 20 different children, right? And they all got the same IEP, the same goals, the same objectives, the same strategies, the same level of service. Do you know how that happened? How did all the kids end up with the same IEP if the IEP is supposed to be an individual? How did all the kids end up with the same IEP if the IEP is supposed to be an individual education plan? The way all the kids ended up with the same IEP is because all the special ed team did was what? Use the same IEP. Use the same IEP. Use the same IEP and change the name. Facts. Be prepared. What's the next big mistake black parents make? Trusting white teachers and white principals and Negro educators and always giving them the benefit of the doubt about your child. Taking in some of this Chinese oxygen. Okay? Never, never, never take the word of a teacher against your own. That is your child, and you should never go forward with anything. That is your child. You should never go forward with anything unless you absolutely agree. You should never go forward with anything unless you absolutely, well, we think he should be tested for ADHD. Now, your spidey senses is telling you as a mother, and your spidey senses is telling you as a father, ain't nothing wrong with my child. So why didn't you trust your God within? Why didn't you trust your Ori? Why didn't you trust your soul? Why didn't you trust spirit? Why would you trust the white folks? A big mistake y'all make that starts this whole school to prison pipeline rolling. The biggest mistake black parents make that gets this whole school to prison pipeline rolling is y'all constantly give the teachers the benefit of the doubt. You don't give white people the benefit of the doubt, not when it comes to your child. If you don't believe it, Jermaine's still talking shit. Let me find him. Where you at, Jermaine, my brother from another mother with the same name? I heard you got to be blocked because you ain't stopped. I don't see him, though. Maybe he did stop. I don't see Jermaine. Let me see. Patricia, you look like Tales from the Crypt. You just disrespected the queen. Nigga, you done lost your mind. He's out of here. You don't disrespect black woman, my brother. Not on my post. We don't get down like that. Okay? We don't get down. We don't disrespect black women. Not on my post. Okay? Black women got it hard enough. They don't need you. And you got the same name I got. That's a damn shame. But he's out of here, ladies. Jermaine is gone. The real Jermaine is here. The real Jermaine is here, and the bootleg Chinese version is out of here. Okay? So stop giving schools the benefit of the doubt. Stop giving schools the benefit of the doubt. Okay? If it don't feel right, it ain't right. Did you hear me, mommy? If it don't feel right, it ain't right. Did you hear me, daddy? If it don't feel right, it ain't right. Did you hear me, foster mom? Did you hear me, adoptive mom? Grandpa, auntie, uncle, big brother, big sister, older cousin? If it don't feel right, it ain't right. Stop giving them the benefit of the doubt. Okay? Number 8. A big mistake black parents make dealing with the public schools. And this is also relevant for my Black Canada family. This is also relevant for my South Africa family. This is also relevant for my Black UK family. And is often relevant for a lot of other children who are attending non-African schools, non-African centered schools. A big mistake black parents make is giving consent. Signing your name. This is what y'all love to do. Let me sign. Can we test for ADHD? Can we take his organs? Can we teach LBGT confusion? Big mistake y'all make is giving consent for your child to be evaluated when your child attends an underperforming school. A big mistake black parents make is giving permission for your child to be evaluated. Wait a minute, we got another one. Lamont, see you later, brother. A big mistake black parents make: if the school is underperforming, if all the kids are below basic, if the school has one of the highest teacher turnover rates in your state, if the school hasn't made AYP since AYP started, if the school is being regularly targeted by the newspaper as underperforming, if the school can't teach, why are you letting them test? If the school can't teach, why are you letting them test? If the school can't teach, why are you letting them test? If the school can't teach, why you letting them test? Your child go to a school where half the kids below basic. Your child go to a school where only 10% of the kids graduate. Your child go to a school where only 15% of the kids pass the state assessment, and they come to you and say, can you please sign this? We think he has a reading disability. Your child go to a school where his teacher's not even certified. Your child being taught by a long-term substitute. Your child being taught by a long-term substitute who got the audacity to tell you that your child needs special education. Why are you signing? The problem ain't your child. The problem is the school. The problem ain't your child. The problem is the school. So stop giving them permission to evaluate children who ain't being taught. The real problem isn't SLD, specific learning disability. The real problem isn't SLD, specific learning disability. The real problem is ABT, ain't been taught. How do we organize? Come to Detroit. I'm organizing, bro. I'm organizing. We got the National Independent Black Parent Association. We got almost 20 chapters doing the work. All you got to do is get on down with us. The Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, greatest black organizer of all time, said what? That the greatest weapon used against the Negro is disorganization. The greatest weapon used against the Negro is disorganization. We got to organize. You cannot hotep your way out of oppression. You cannot read your way out of oppression. You cannot study your way out of you cannot green smoothie your way out of oppression. You cannot frankincense and myrrh and incense your way out of oppression. You can't Egyptianize your way out of oppression. That's right. You got to organize and work your way out of oppression. You got to organize and work. I'm not going into politics. Why would I go into politics? There's nothing that I can't do for my people as a regular brother that I couldn't do if I was mayor. Okay? In fact, I can do more without the politics. I'm not playing that damn game. You ain't even no leader. A politician is a manager of disproportionality, discrimination, racism, and bias. A black politician is a manager of disproportionality, discrimination, racism, and bias. A black politician is a manager of disproportionality, discrimination, racism, and bias. I don't need to be running for nobody's office. For what? Do you see Chinese? I'm in China, right? When they go to America, are they trying to become president? They don't even care. They don't even care. They come from a communist nation. There's no elections in China. There's no elections here. It's the Chinese Communist Party. They don't give a damn about no democracy. They want economic power. Economic power. Economic power. Whoever got the money control the politicians. Y'all problem is y'all ain't understood that yet. Whoever got the money controls the politicians, and black people don't understand that yet. You still running around looking for a vote. Get out and vote. Make sure y'all vote. Our ancestors died for us to vote. That's a damn lie. That's a damn lie. That's a damn lie. Our ancestors died for us to vote. That's a damn lie. Our ancestors died for freedom. Our ancestors died for liberation. Our ancestors died for justice. Our ancestors died for equality. Our ancestors didn't die for a vote. Voting was the strategy and the tactic at that time. Voting was the strategy and the tactic at that time that they felt. Voting was the strategy and the tactic at that time that they felt would be most efficient towards delivering the freedom, that would be most efficient towards delivering the opportunity. They felt voting at that time was the tactic that would be most likely to deliver the justice. They didn't die for us to vote. Don't confuse the goal with the tactic. Don't confuse the mission with the strategy. That's your problem. Y'all keep on mixing goals with tactics. Nonviolence is a tactic. Nonviolence isn't a way of life. Sometimes you got to be violent. Sometimes you got to be nonviolent. It's a tactic. Stop confusing tactics with outcomes. Do not consent for your child to be evaluated when they go to a poor school. And never consent for your child to be evaluated if you don't believe anything is wrong with your child. Mama knows best. That's coming from a school psychology with almost 20 years in the game. That's coming from a doctor of clinical psychology. You understand? That's coming from a man who's been in mental health since he was 18. Mama knows best. Mama knows best. Okay? Is this helpful, brothers and sisters? Give me a black fist or something. Is this helpful? I need to know if it's helpful because I don't like wasting time. We only have but so much of it. Is this helpful? Okay. So, the next big mistake that black parents make when dealing with these public, private, parochial, charter, and independent schools is not removing your son or daughter, and especially your son. Another big problem you make is not removing your son or daughter, and especially your son, from a school where he has already been criminalized. This is important. This is very important. This is very important. You know that the school is a part of the prison system, right? So schools are always trying to do what? Criminalize black children. Schools are always trying to criminalize black children. So what you have to do is you have to keep watch over how your son or daughter is being treated. Because once they have been criminalized, and let me give you Dr. Umar Johnson's definition of a child being criminalized. When I say a child is criminalized, I'm saying the staff and faculty in that school, have made up their mind that your child is nothing but a black devil and a criminal in the making. That principal, that teacher, that vice principal, that counselor, that dean of students, that behavior specialist, those NTAs, those lunchroom aides, the bus driver, everybody, they have singled your child out. They have singled your child out. They have singled your child out, and they have made up their mind that your child is a black devil who ain't never going to amount to nothing and who will ultimately be a criminal. Once they have come to that conclusion that your child can't do no right, once they have come to the conclusion that your child can't do no right, you have to get your child out of that school. Once they have come to the conclusion that your child can do no right, you have to get your child out of that school. Why? Why? Because psychological dropout precedes physical dropout. 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 If your son is being mistreated in the 4th and 5th grade, by the time he gets to the 8th grade, he's tired. By the time he gets to the 8th grade, he's depressed. By the time he gets to the 8th grade, he feels hopeless. He's in despair. And that's why most African American children drop out in what grade? 9th. Nationally, most African American children, especially the boys, drop out in the 9th grade because they have already been criminalized. They have already been criminalized. So you got to watch. If they always suspending him, they always telling you to pick him up, they always sending him out of the classroom, you keep getting notes home. Even when your son has a good day, they never give him a pat on the back. They never say good job for trying. They never call you up and say, we know Umar been struggling, but he had a good day today. And I just want to let you know, Miss Johnson, that Umar had a good day today. If you never get no positive feedback, your child never gets no positive feedback, all he gets is suspensions and detentions, guess what? He's been criminalized. He's been criminalized. And once your child has been criminalized, you got to get them out before they psychologically drop out. Once they psychologically drop out, it's hard to bring them back. Once they psychologically drop out, it's hard to bring them back. That's why you got to talk to your child. You got to talk to your child, and you got to get on these teachers. Stop talking to my child like that. He said, you said this. You don't talk to my child like that. You don't talk to my child like that. Okay? We got to fight for our children, y'all. They all we got. We got to fight for our children. Okay? And you can use No Child Left Behind. You can use No Child Left Behind to get your child transferred to another school. Excuse me. Woo. The No Child Left Behind law says that if a child goes to a school, the No Child Left Behind law says that if a child goes to a school where he's not safe, where he can't succeed, he can't achieve, the school district has to find that boy another school. But I do want you to know that every school has a deadline for when you can request a No Child Left Behind transfer. Find out the deadline in your school district for when you can request a No Child Left Behind transfer. Find out the deadline in your school district for when you can request a No Child Left Behind transfer. Because once the deadline goes, you can't move them. And if they refuse to transfer them, that's when you contact United States Department of Education, Office of Civil Rights. Discrimination. Discrimination. Bullying. One of the big areas where black children are discriminated against is when it comes to bullying. Black kids get bullied and white folks don't do nothing about it because they think, you know, we're just a bunch of self-hating animals anyway. White kid get bullied, they all over it. White kid get bullied, they all over it. Black child get bullied, they don't pay it no mind. They say we're just a bunch of animals anyway. Okay, so if they're not taking your child's bully case seriously, if they're not taking your child's bully case seriously, I would definitely file a report. United States Department of Education, Office of Civil Rights, Racial Discrimination. My child is being bullied and they're not doing nothing about it because they're black. You need to be in Detroit. You need to be in Detroit, June 9th and 10th. Register, princeofpanafricanism.eventbrite.com, princeofpanafricanism.eventbrite.com. Okay? Number 6, big mistake black parents make. Not getting regular copies of their child's record. Not getting regular copies of their child's records. Not getting regular copies of their child's records. Not getting regular copies of their child's records. Remember, The FERPA law, the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. The Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act gives you a right to a complete copy of your child's academic record whenever you want. The UMAR Johnson rule, the Dr. Papa rule, is that you should get a request of your child's academic records at least once every 3 years. You should get a copy in the 3rd grade. You should get a copy in the 6th grade. You should get a copy in the 9th grade. You should get a copy in the 12th grade before they graduate. Okay? You should get a copy. Okay? Why? Because teachers put stuff in your child's records all the time that y'all don't know about. Teachers put stuff in your child's records all the time that you don't know about. They put pink slips, write-ups, all kind of stuff is in your child's record. You need to know what's in. And if you don't agree with it, you have a right to challenge it. If you don't agree with it, you have a right to contest. If you don't agree with it, you have a right to say, this is inaccurate. This is not my letter. I never wrote this. I never received this. It negatively reflects upon my child. I want it out. In every school district in America, this is a federal law. Every school district in America is required to have an officer or an official whose job is to hear parent protests and parent complaints and parent requests to get certain records expunged from their child's file. Okay, every school